All right. Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. I want to say hello to everybody out there. It's been a few days since we've been on the air. I'll be the first to tell you that flu season is definitely in full effect. We've been under the weather here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel, to say the least, over the last 2 weeks, technically. But anyway, so we appreciate everyone's support, sticking around. And we wanted to give a brief report tonight, maybe a little bit more than brief, because there's a lot to talk about. Mainly, we want to start with the space weather. And we are not looking at any sunspots at the current time. This is now 23 straight days without a sunspot. Remember January, we had sunspots from 2018 kind of linger around into 19, but once it stopped. A little bit of activity, but ever since February, we have not had a sunspot. Taking a look at our SDO motion, this is one of the things I want to look at. This coronal hole that we are going to experience in the upcoming days, they are saying the 26th and the 27th is when the solar wind will arrive. I can tell you this, the SDO paused makes it look a little worse. But the width of this hole has got me thinking possibility of some increased solar wind speeds up around 600 kilometers or 650 kilometers per second. All right. Being this wide, and if it hits Earth as it appears to be here in the next couple of days, just from previous observations, hunches, we'll see solar wind speeds that high, maybe a little higher, possibility of some geomagnetic activity. Right now, the solar winds, though, we're calm at 333.3 kilometers per second with a density of 3.2. Like I said, 0 sunspots now for 23 straight days. That's 37 days so far in 2019 without a sunspot. And we are approaching this minimum faster than you know it. So they're talking about this coronal hole as well. During solar minimum, long-lasting holes open the sun's atmosphere, releasing streams of solar wind into space. I have to note this because there's people out there that actually don't think we're in a solar minimum right now. This is a reoccurring coronal hole. It says that they've seen this particular coronal hole in the summer of 2018, been spinning around the sun, lashing Earth with solar wind approximately once a month. The last time our planet felt its gaseous emissions was late January. Bright auroras around the Arctic Circle, and some lights are even spilled into the U.S. G1 class storms are likely. So I think NOAA's playing it safe here. Why not? But definitely expecting some conditions to increase for solar activity. Now, also, while I've got you here on SPACEWEATHER.com, they're reporting that new data released by the Earth Sky Calculus High Altitude Balloon Program show that atmospheric cosmic rays are intensifying for the 4th year in a row, an ironic side effect of the decaying solar cycle. The new results are of interest to everyone from astronauts to air travelers. We have a link here. But we were just talking about this the other day about how we are continuing to see increase in cosmic rays. And I know a lot of you right away are going to say, well, look, it's declining right here, Jake. It's moving down already. Well, look back in the back here. Look where we are, September of 17. Okay, the dip there. Notice that the dip is getting closer to the top of that line. So it was on an increase through 16, kind of died out, 17, and then headed back up once again. And this dip is a little weaker than the ones previous, which could also mean we could see cosmic rays increase, skyrocket in the next couple of years, which we know. But like I said, just the other day, we were talking about how cosmic rays are on the increase in the atmosphere. Here is the article that gives us that proof. Here at spaceweather.com, click on the link. You guys can take a look at it. But when I report on some of these news articles, like I do on a daily basis, that all has relevance to cosmic rays in our atmosphere. It's a known fact that every minimum that you get decreased magnetic field, an increase of cosmic rays and other particles that penetrate our atmosphere. And these cosmic rays are more like a magnet type substance for particles, for water vapor. Make it a super raindrop, make it a super snowflake. And the more we keep putting these or not us, but the more cosmic rays that continue to enter the atmosphere, the more impressive weather events we're going to have. Not just cold weather, folks. I'm not talking about cold weather all the time. These floods that we see worldwide that are wiping out villages, that's cosmic ray related. You can talk all you want about warm causes more water vapor in the atmosphere, but I'm telling you, these cosmic rays are seeding our clouds and our atmosphere, and it's supersizing what's coming down from the sky. But the significance of some of these headline stories are to show you that these kind of weather events happen in cycles. These solar minimums.
Sorry. Someone said you sound like Johnny Cash. I'm just saying.
Johnny Cash or not. Maybe.
That was Grant. Grant thinks you
wow.
sound like Johnny Cash.
Throwing me way off right in the middle of a. Maybe I'll do my Jesse impersonation.
Sorry, everyone.
Sorry. Guys, bear with us here. We're both delirious on cold medication. Trying to shake it. I'm sure you guys can hear it in my voice. I barely had one yesterday. But I thought today was important. Seeing all the stuff in the news that we're missing due to health reasons. We've missed a lot of big headlines. But the one thing I really wanted to show you guys is the proof that every minimum we have increased cosmic rays, and these kinds of events happen in cycles. Now, you're probably saying, well, Jake, how come there's so many 500-year floods? If this happens in cycles, why is this one so deep? Again, solar cycle 24 has been reported to be the weakest cycle in the last 150 to 200 years. So just imagine what kind of year record or floods we're going to crush in the 2030s, going back from this weak maximum that we're going to have in 25, cycle 25. So you're thinking we'll start to see minimum conditions once again around 27, 28, and 29 going into the 2030s and plummeting and continuing to fall through the 2030s. So if we're seeing 100-year and 500-year floods in this cycle, and the activity is expected to completely bottom out by the 2030s, what kind of events do you think we'll be looking at then? And will we be fortunate enough to be able to report them to you to give you a warning? Now I want to show you another thing before we get into our headlines. TSI. I've never seen this quick of a peak and drop in less than a month's time. Fluctuating in the 1360.5 values for several days, and now jumping almost back up into the 1360.7 values within weeks. This kind of activity usually takes months, not weeks. And I'm talking 2 to 3 weeks of data. Of course, we all know that TSI is 8 days behind, so we don't get this in real time. So it's been real interesting to watch this develop ever since we hit the 0.5s. I wondered if we were going to mellow out in the 6s again and then drop back into the 5s. But instead, like I said, just a weird increase here, something I haven't seen. Looking at a TSI of 1360.799. That was as of February 14th. So that was Valentine's Day. Maybe all that love got the sun all hot and bothered. We'll see. All right, so here's some of the events that I'm talking about. When you see headlines like this, snow at elevation rarely seen in Southern California. Man, we have seen it all in Southern California. And God have mercy on your souls. My heart's and my thoughts and prayers are with you guys. What a year it's been since 18, and now we've had several hundred thousands of acres burned due to wildfires that were devastating, just incinerated towns, cities. We've had record rains. We've had record snows in the mountains. Now we're talking about snow. Yeah, LA, Los Angeles National Forest, Sierras, Mount Whitney. Nope, try again. Not a lot to write about on this. Just the headline itself caught my attention. Snow showers were reported by spotters in Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley, Calabas, Northridge, Pasadena, all elevations between 210 and 305 meters, which is about 700 to 1,000 feet. Snow was also reported in portions of Santa Clarita Valley, which is a bit higher in elevation. Most amazingly, snow was even reported right at some beaches, including Malibu Pier, Leo Carrillo Beach, and near sea level at Fire Station 71 at Point Doom. In most areas, the snow melted as it hit the ground. Not the point, though. No snow was reported downtown Los Angeles. The last time snow was reported there was in 1962, and a trace was reported on 2 consecutive days, January 21st and January 22nd. Measurable snow has fallen in downtown LA just twice since records began 142 years ago. The heaviest snowfall occurred on January 15th, 1932, 2 inches of snow on the ground. January 9th, 1949, 70 years ago, that day we had 0.3 inches of snow. So the last time we had snow, where we're talking about right now, was 1989, where we got 5 inches and fell in portions of the San Fernando Valley, westward to Thousand Oaks and Simi Valley. Again, we're seeing some weird stuff out there in the West. And the weirdest, Flagstaff getting pummeled. They've got feet of snow on the ground. Yeah, feet. Flagstaff Pulliam Airport, Flagstaff, Arizona, recorded 35.9 inches of snow on February 21st, setting the new all-time 24-hour record for the city. Previous record was 31 inches, set back in, guess what, 100 years ago. So we just got done talking about all these 100 and 500-year events that are happening right now. Again, wait till this cycle's over. Wait till we go into the next minimum, which a lot believe it's going to be the grand minimum. The storm dumped total of 40.3 inches of snow. That's the annual snowfall. Now, when I read the record, I first thought, well, the annual record for Arizona snowfall's got to be low anyway. And 40 inches is roughly, just under 4 feet. So to me, it's beyond my imagination here that this area could get this much snow in this amount of time. And there's a lot going on. The Pacific is feeding all that moisture in. But where do you think, again, cosmic ray, and I talked about this over and over about the West Coast. They like to talk about, they like to point that out in these maps. All right. Where they're doing their measurements from. I know New England was somewhere around 19% increase, 13% California. That continues to go up. But again, cosmic rays seeding the atmosphere, supercharging these water vapor droplets, and creating stuff like this. Like I said, if this is 100-year, what do you think in 2030s? What's coming then? That doesn't mean we're going to break more records from 500 years ago or 200 years ago, or maybe just barely beat them. But even so, let's say we match these records, but we get them more frequently. Because I'll tell you what, right now, the jet stream is acting all kinds of crazy right now. Our star is definitely influencing. And that leads me to another thing too, guys. I know this is kind of all over the place, but thanks to the star man, he sent me a link I want to share with you guys, because I was getting ready to tell you how the number one variable to our climate is the sun. And I showed you guys a little, I showed you guys earlier. All right. We talked about NASA pulling off and parts about where the sun affects the climate. And this was brought to my attention today. Where'd it go? Oh, it's completely removed. 29.3 in this book, the contents of this book. Here we go. The influence of precipitating particles on stratospheric ozone. And then we go into parts about 11-year solar signal ozone temperature. Talks about empirical mode decomposition, the EMD analysis. And then we have the climate response to the 11-year solar variability. And I thought to myself, well, here we once again have proof of information that is proving that the sun controls the climate, not man. Again, I thank the Starman for passing this along to me, because I'll be honest with you, in the version that he sent me on the mobile site. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Okay. I just find it interesting that there is proof that study has happened on the 11-year solar cycles on our climate. I'll try to make this available for everybody for after the show so you can take a look at this ebook. But again, thanks again to the Starman for throwing this at me. And it kind of goes in line with what I was talking about here with cosmic rays. And my main point about me blabbing about this is that the main driver of our climate is the sun. I mean, here we have record flooding in Mississippi, and not just the flooding, but the tornadoes too. I mean, look at the water that we're talking about here, guys. This is February. And all month we've talked about areas with record flooding. Tennessee, Nashville. Mari did a video on Nashville, their flooding. We've seen flooding in California. Flagstaff is getting pummeled with feet of snow. Several inches of rain here in the south. I mean, this, wow. I just find it funny that there's still so many people out there that deny the real science that our climate is being manipulated right now by space radiation, cosmic rays that are entering our planet because our magnetosphere is not strong enough to protect us anymore. So, moving right along, more snow is ahead in the Pacific Northwest, including Portland. A wave of low pressure will move into the Pacific Northwest Sunday into Monday. So the wave keeps coming for these guys. What I find interesting is that NOAA said that this was going to be an area that was going to be well above temperatures average for this month. And that is not the case whatsoever. We continue to see snow across the area. Portland's no stranger to snow this season. They have already picked up 6.1 inches. First snow of the season was in early February. Lucian brought 1.2 inches. Winter storm Maya dumped 4.9. And here we have more. Portland looking to get 5 to 8 inches. Some areas could almost get 3 feet of snow. Bear with me again, folks. All right, I'm back. Anyway, so we got more weather coming in the northwest, the opposite of what we thought was going to happen, or what NOAA thought was going to happen. Then we have Winter Storm Keanu. That's happening right now. I want to be the first to apologize. I thought the western Iowa was going to get pummeled with feet of snow. It doesn't appear that's going to be the case, but they are in a blizzard warning. So the intense snowfall that will occur for 3 hours straight is going to be the bulk of that snow. But the conditions are going to be dangerous. Whiteout conditions, no visibility, less than a quarter mile for at least 3 hours. That's why they have the blizzard watch. But when you look at the totals, it doesn't reflect, in my opinion. I mean, we're talking the heaviest snow, 3 to 5 inches. And they're talking about blizzard-like conditions. So this is through Sunday. High wind warnings throughout Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. This is because there's a cold front coming here. These wind gusts may bring down trees or tree limbs and trigger power outages, particularly in areas in high soil moisture from recent heavy rain or melted snow. We have probably about 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. There's forecast for wind gusts. That's pretty high. Buffalo, look out. 75 miles per hour Sunday at 4 p.m. Cleveland, Ohio, 50 to 60. Indianapolis, 50 to 60. Chicago, 50 to 60. Also, we have an ice threat for tonight as well. New York, portions of New England, and northern New Jersey, parts of Pennsylvania, Maryland, and West Virginia has a slight chance for 0.10 inches of ice or greater. So we got to watch this system here, as this may not be impressive on the snowfall side, but right now it's looking like it's packing a punch. With high winds, icy conditions. So be on the alert, folks, if you're in the Northeast, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Michigan. Actually, I want to take a look. One more thing, the radar. That's our current look at our radar. And this system is huge, but classic. We've seen a couple of these this year already. Take a look at the extended GFS models. They change day to day now. Mild temperatures still with us here, but as this storm moves out, and look at the size of this thing as it moves off into the ocean, it brings in that cold air. And right behind it, the northwest is going to flush that next snow system right down to the northern plains, into the Great Lakes, and into the northeast by late next week. Very light precipitation. Nothing major to worry about. But we are seeing a pattern of colder air and bigger storms moving through mid-March. And as far as it takes us to March 11th, this is a whopper of a system right here. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on this, as it looks like to be a slow mover, but a very large system. But we'll go backwards here. Take a look at the south. When do we get a break for the south? Looks like we get some dry time on Monday, Tuesday, before showers return to the area on Thursday into Friday. Not as heavy as what we've seen, but still, enough is enough. Another system comes in on Friday, March 2nd. And again, Tennessee, Kentucky, and the rest of the South are affected with heavy rain showers through Saturday, March 2nd. Maybe a dry day or two. Cold air dipping into the south. Yes, chance for snow and freezing rain across parts of the areas that are flooded or have had tornado watches. And as we go into March 5th, that deepening cold hangs out a little bit, but more moisture. So, guys, really, in the south, we have moisture one right after another. The chances for rain, snow is on the table for the next 16 days. And in that same timeline, we're going to have to watch the temperatures, watch what the sun's doing, look out for earthquakes. Not trying to be a fear guy here, but there's a lot going on right now. And the weirder is definitely getting a little bit weirder. The space weather is definitely affecting the climate. Our sun is definitely making impacts. We're seeing things that we see during minimums, but at the same time are concerning too. The 7.5 earthquake that we had in Peru. Some say that we'll probably see more of that action here in the next 15 to 30 days, along with a weather pattern that I don't think anybody saw coming. Let's take a look at mid-March, by the way, with this cold air. We see the GFS is trying to say we're going to have spring, late February. And then we start to see that change a little bit here at the end of the month. Colder air pushing in from the Arctic, kind of takes a little break, and then the 1st of March happens, and bam, more cold air for the northern plains. Sub-zero temperatures. Northeast, you might get into the single-digit action, but for March 4th, it's kind of cold. March 5th, still in the negatives. By the 6th, we start to see this cold air kind of let up. And could this be the indication that the coldest of the coldest might be on its way out? We'll have to wait and see. But this could be an indication that winter might loosen its grip here at some point by mid-March. It's possible. Still want to watch this right here, though, into the beginning of March. Expect it to get cold once again, and to see the temperatures dip as low as they dip in the freezing mark by the 5th of March. Possibility of snow and ice still remains a chance for the south, all the way as deep as mid-March. So let's take a quick look at ice growth. Guys, we're shattering 2018. Anybody wants to tell you that we're declining on the ice, you can already see the gains from last year. Point him to this video. And that's pretty much what I got for tonight. Mari, I didn't know if you wanted to say hello or anything. We've both been under the weather, so I totally understand it. You can stay put if you'd like. It's not a big deal.
No. Okay.
I think Mari's going to stay put.
Am I?
Oh, there you are.
Are you scared, Jake?
No, I'm not scared.
What were you, Johnny Cash, tonight? Grant, you cracked me up. I'm telling you.
That was Jesse from BP Earthwatch.
Grant was so excited that he caught a live show. He actually brought popcorn to watch it. That's
It's
flattering.
probably one of the worst shows we've done, but I wanted to get a message out there tonight. And I think it's the weather and everything is just crazy right now, and people need to pay attention to what's going on.
And I don't have a whole lot because I didn't take notes.
Oh, well.
So I didn't go too crazy. I just wanted to say hi to everyone. I was laid up in bed for over, 24 hours
at least
with the flu. So, we are recovering one person at a time in this household.
Yeah, luckily, our son hasn't caught anything, so thank goodness. Let's hope we averted that one. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for your patience tonight. It was kind of difficult, but there was a lot of things that I wanted to cover I didn't cover tonight, but I got the main things out tonight, and that's things are definitely on the uptick with weather, with seismic activity, solar activity in the lower department, though, in different areas. Not that we're seeing an increase of sunspots or anything like that. In fact, we don't even see anything that resembles a sunspot possibility over the next several weeks. And that's a fact. So definitely a quiet sun, folks. Definitely heading into a minimum. And we need to pay attention. I think things are going to get a little wacky here for the beginning of spring as well. But definitely watch seismic activity. Volcanic activity has been on the up and down. But we will continue to monitor this here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Please join us tomorrow night, Sunday night, with Henrik, the Grand Solar Minimum Danish channel. So always fun times when we have him on the show. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Take care. Have a good night. We'll see you soon.